Last week at the Olympics in Tokyo, something happened that took 49 years to happen. We all know the tragic story how in 1972, 11 Israeli athletes were murdered by Palestinian terrorists. The families, the widows, the orphans of these 11 athletes, the parents, pleaded with the Olympic Committee for 49 years to hold a moment of silence in commemoration of these 11 athletes. But year after year after year, the Olympic Committee refused. This year, after 49 years of perseverance, with some of the widows of the athletes in attendance, the Tokyo, Japan Olympics asked the audience and the televised audience worldwide to take a moment to remember the 11 Israeli athletes who were murdered in the Munich Olympics. And I find it fascinating that it happened in the 49th year, because we all know the verse that Torah says that the 50th year shall be the Jubilee year. And what does the Torah say? You shall blow the shofar in the 49th, at the end of the 49th year, to herald in the Jubilee year and proclaim freedom throughout the land for all its inhabitants, as it is inscribed on the Liberty Bell. And indeed, the shofar blast is a call to access our inner freedom and to remember what is important in life. That yes, Olympics are fun, entertaining, interesting, but what's important is life and the preservation of life and standing up against evil and terror. And finally, the Olympics took a moment to remember that tragedy. And now that it's 49 years later, we understand even more the magnitude of the tragedy. Because you see, those 11 Olympians would have gone on to have families. And by now, they would have already had grandchildren. And so those 11 lives represents hundreds of lives that tragically were snuffed out and were never allowed to come into the world, who would have been alive today if not for that evil. And that's the lesson of the shofar. The lesson of the shofar is that what we do is not just about the moment, it's about the impact and the repercussions. When we do something negative, it has negative consequences and repercussions. When we do something positive, it multiplies and it grows. And you can never evaluate, you can never calculate how much good can come out of one small good deed. Because, of course, every action has a ripple effect. You know, yesterday I took my kids to play some miniature golf. And there's a little lesson I would like to share with you from a golf ball. You see, the eye is a magnificent gift that God gave us. And with the eye, I can see the whole world around me. But if I take a small little golf ball and I bring it really, really close to my eye, at that point, I cannot see anything but the golf ball. And everything around me, my whole vision, is blocked. And so too in life, when we take small and insignificant things and we bring it so close to ourselves and we focus on it exclusively and obsess about it, it blinds us from seeing the bigger picture in life. The shofar asks us to take a step back and look at the big picture of life, not to focus on the minutia and the trivial things. It's a story I heard about a man in Miami Beach who grew up Jewish but drifted away from his Jewish heritage, and he was living in a condominium on the beach. And one day he sees people dressed with suits and ties and women in dresses walking to the beach, and he's thinking, that's not the way you go to the beach. You go to the beach in a bathing suit. And then it dawned upon him, it's Rosh Hashanah, and he remembered that on Rosh Hashanah he would go with his father and mother as a child to the beach for tashlach. So he decided, you know what, let me join them. So with his shorts and his polo shirt, he put on his kippah, and he went down to the beach and he stood with those Jews and he said the prayers and he participated in the tashlach service. There was a man there who went over to him and said, I see you're new here, what's your name? He told him his name. He said, well, my name is Moshe Katz and I'm the rabbi of the community. And I want to know, did you hear the shofar today? He said, I didn't. He said, well, let me blow the shofar for you. And right there on the beach, he took out his shofar and started to blow the shofar. He thanked him very much, went back to his apartment. He told his wife what happened. He said, I met this rabbi there. He blew the shofar for me. And he said his name is Rabbi Moshe Katz, and he's the rabbi just a few blocks from here. His wife said, Moshe Katz? He said, yeah, why? He says, my great-grandfather was the rabbi in Bialystok. His name was Rabbi Moshe Katz. Can't believe that the rabbi who you met on the beach, his name is Rabbi Moshe Katz. And so they decided a few days ago to go meet the rabbi. They went to see the rabbi. They started to get to know each other and started to learn Torah with the rabbi and get closer to Judaism until they finally became more observant and connected to Yiddishkeit. And one day, this Jew said to Rabbi Katz, you know, you live just a few blocks away from me. Why is it that God didn't allow me to meet you years earlier, maybe 10 years earlier, so I could have had more years of Yiddishkeit in my life? Why did it have to happen so late if you were living right around the corner all along? The rabbi gave him a very true answer. The rabbi said that perhaps God was waiting for you to take the first step. When you put on your kippah and joined us for Tashlich, that's when God said, you are ready. And that's when I came into your life, and thank God, have been able to grow with you and learn with you about your Jewish heritage and reconnect you and re-inspire you. That's what the shofar is. The shofar is a call for us to take the first step. And God says, if you take the first step, if you make the first move, I will make the next move. And you never know how much good can come out of that one small step. Have a wonderful day.